I want to just make it clear. You know, when I launched the Nyore Nyore housing scheme, some prominent newspapers, media houses, went wholeheartedly to attack. Some in Zimbabwe, some in London, another idiot in South Africa. Are you with me? I just look at them. I say, watch me. By the time you're still watching, I'll be right up there. So that's your bloody problem.
For many years, people have speculated on how Phillip Chiyangwa and indeed many of his peers made their money while most Zimbabweans were struggling to make ends meet. And oftentimes, the assumption has been that this wealth has been ill-gotten merely because most people did not understand how these Zimbabweans made their wealth while most Zimbabweans were struggling and unable to realize these same opportunities. The whole point of this episode of Telling the Good Zimbabwe Story today is to liberate our minds from the mindset that believes that black wealth can only be a result of crime and not creativity, innovation, and insight. Through Phillip Chiyangwa's story, I hope to educate current and future generations on how one can leapfrog from zero to hero by having insight to take advantage of latent opportunities. After watching this, I hope it will make every Zimbabwean realize that the sky is the limit and everyone has a chance to be successful and wealthy if we simply open our minds to knowledge and exposure to opportunities. Just like the man that built America, Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa and others like him are the nation builders of Zimbabwe and thus the heroes of our society. They are charting new paths in business, innovation, creativity as they build a new Zimbabwe built by Venevayo. We need to make such icons, case studies, and heroes who build the nation and people that we can learn from. This is the story of the enigma that is Phillip Chiyangwa.
So today is a wonderful day. We always think that we know who people are, and we make so many assumptions about the businessmen of our country. But I'm on a journey to try and understand these business people, where they tell their story so that we can tell the Zimbabwe story better. You've got to understand that the success of our business people is the success of our country. And today I've got a man who I've been pursuing for a very long time, trying to get him to talk to me, to give us, his younger brothers, his sons, his daughters, the secret of how it is that he became successful. And after a long chase, he eventually said, you know what? It's time for me to impart my knowledge and give you my wisdom. And with me today, I've got Phillip Chiyangwa. Tsivo.
Yes.
Tsivo, how are you?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Sure.
I've been chasing you for a while about this.
Yeah. It's been years now, yeah?
Tsivo, I've seen great things that you're doing.
Sure.
And many people want to know, who are you? Who is this enigma called Phillip Chiyangwa?
Okay, so with me, I did start, buying properties from the 1980s. And
1980s?
Yeah. So sometimes, you buy, you go on to seek for permits, and then you execute. This here is a 160 shopping mall, which is situated in Waterfall, along what we call Masochanto Way, which is opposite the Waterfalls police station. This one will be opened in a few weeks' time, now licensed. And there's going to be Puma service station up there. And many of these shops, you can see, some of them are very complete. And we had to, adjust and add more due to demand. Now, that's what it is right now.
So you're saying, this land that was opposite Masochi,
yes.
I mean the Waterfalls police station,
yes.
was your land?
It's been my land.
How long has it been
for
your
quite
land?
some time. There's so many pieces of land around Harare that I own. But these I acquired over time. Sometimes, you know, you are high-spirited and you think, oh, it's going well. Then some disruption comes in, interference, you know, what have you. But hey, here, 𝗥𝗘𝗬𝗪𝗘𝗪, together with a few more, up to 10, I will open very soon.
How many shops do you have at this particular?
160. Yeah.
160.
Yes.
Shopping mall in Waterfalls.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
Developed by Phillip Chiyangwa.
Oh yes. There's an 𝗕𝗜𝗟𝗟𝗓𝗣𝗔 jet stores are coming here.
Wow.
And many other, you know, brands. You can see behind me there. There's those people over there. There's many shops over there. There are many there. And you know, you can. There's a little lodge behind here. So for those that are coming to shop late, you can always book and sleep here. There's a lodge. So I mean, there's many things happening. We have 10 shopping malls that we are opening in a few months' time, all of which we have been working on.
So Tsiu,
Yes.
let's get this straight.
Yeah.
The other day I had a discussion with you, and you were pissed off by this word called land barons.
Yes.
And you said you passionately hate land barons.
Yes.
You said you are a member of the ruling party.
Yes.
But you are buying land.
Yes.
And you cannot stand the idea.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about how you feel about land barons and this perception people had that because you own land, you are a land baron yourself.
Okay, I know that's just, you know, their own problem. I have to buy everything I own. I'm not interested, again, more in risking my reputation that I've held for so long, in going around saying, this thing belongs to me, like the land guys that steal land do. They take the risk of going to purport that this pieces of land or this piece of land is mine, hey, you know, this and that. Remember, we started off a long time ago, especially Pinnacle, and we owned most of the Harare South. We had to give it up.
Wow.
Because we realized that, look, there were so many people who went there under false pretenses of land barons, etc. I went back to government. I said, listen, the people that had been settled there have nothing to do with me. You can have it, and I go elsewhere.
Wow.
Right? And
Right.
yeah, we struck a deal. We agreed with each other. I moved out.
So you gave
The
up
entire
land
Harare South.
for the benefit of the people.
Yes, because look, from when I started empowerment, which is the AAG, the intention was to assist others. So the more you assist others, the more wealthier you become. The more stingy you are, you also go down.
And this is something people don't know about you, that you have given to a lot of the established people in this country.
Yes.
You've given the starting capital. Some of them have had houses taken away. You've bought those houses back at auctions, given them to stay in there again. You funded some of the activities that have made these people. Why don't you speak a lot about this?
I'm not interested in talking about it. Reason being that those that also helped me. Are you with me? Not many talk about it. So me, I don't find that kind of comfort in going to speak. You know, when Matinyara had problems here and there, I bailed him out. I think that's where we differ with many other people. Others want to go out there and say, look here, you know, I gave this guy this, I gave that one that. I'm not at that league. I wouldn't have been so rich if I was talking about people that I've helped. And one thing for sure, I help. And that's something that I don't have to go out bragging about in any way.
How many properties do you currently have? There are rumors that you're the biggest black land owner in Zimbabwe. How many properties do you have? How many are you developing at the particular moment?
Okay, so I have land probably in every critical town or critical space. I have land there. I have so much land out in Marsh East. We are putting 250,000, you know, pieces of accommodation.
250,000.
Yes. So we move from there. We go to Marsh West. We putting 500,000. The rest of the other pieces that are going to make the figure of 1 million next year come from the other provinces. So I'm still finalizing with the planners and so forth, so that it's all done and wrapped.
And there is a story that goes that a lot of the property that you got is at a time where Zimbabwean municipalities were in crisis, from the time of ESAP. Then we go into the issue of sanctions. A lot of them didn't know where to get money from. They couldn't get them from the banks. And they looked to one man. Is that true? And can you elaborate on that story?
There were many people buying. I didn't know I was going to emerge as top of all these other people. But truthfully speaking, I bought. And I bought everywhere. I don't even know where I didn't buy. At some point, I was even being phoned by these councils threatening that if I don't pay rates, this land is going to go. I had to go and check on the records that, okay, it's mine. Let me pay the rates and keep it. Right. Some I lost because some would not even talk to you anymore. You would have to go to court to reverse their decision. So that it happened. But I bought land when councils were broke and they needed money to pay their staff and so forth, starting with Harare itself.
What was the idea of buying land? Were you just buying to own the land and then to sell it?
Those that look at successful people or companies, whether it's McDonald's, their biggest thing on their balance sheet is property. All right? If you go to Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, go to Elon Musk, he's buying $100 million flat next to Mar-a-Lago, Trump, whom he is working with. So, when you know what you are up to, and in terms of wealth, land is the best way to go.
Tsiwa, you're saying to me, you planned this in advance.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm going to own land.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to say something that's controversial. Black people are known for not having that vision, long-term vision. What gave you that long-term vision?
Because don't forget that there are blacks who are very rich. Dangote is rich. He went in there, struck his deal. He monopolized on sugar, flour, and now he's in oil, he's cement, and he's spreading his wings. Yes. So let me tell you this: I'm trying by all means to catch up. That's what I can say to those that are really up there. When I do what I'm doing, Zimbabwe will never be the same again. However, I'm a Zimbabwean, and I have to first demonstrate here before anybody knows about me anywhere else. We knew about Dangote because he had done very well in his own country. Right. I'm doing the best I can in my own country. Right. I founded the Affirmative Action Group in 1994. Yes. And since then, I've kept, that kind of spirit that, at no time can you expect somebody from outside to come and rescue you inside. So we have to do things here.
So now let's tie it up.
Yeah.
To make sense for people. You've said that you're in property.
Yeah.
You bought land.
Yeah.
But there are also other businesses that you're involved in. 𝗕𝗏𝗟, which is telecommunications. You founded it.
Yeah.
So that was, you were in telecommunications.
Yes.
You went into G&D issues and a lot of manufacturing concerns.
Yes, yes.
So you've got a track record of types of business. Can you just wind us down to show us where you came from and how you're now going into this property and the properties that you're now developing as your legacy that you want to leave behind?
Yeah, I was doing many businesses. I had to have a home. I was also, finding my feet in business as I started in the early 1980s. So immediately after independence.
Yes.
I've hardly been financed, put it this way.
Also, you were in business immediately after independence?
Yes, yes. I've hardly been financed, and I don't look forward to a bank financing me. I've owned significantly a large bank in this country. People didn't know I owned 20+% in that bank, and I kept quiet because sometimes once they say Nyore Nyore,
and this is the biggest bank in the country.
Oh yeah. So I also went into 𝗕𝗏𝗟, bought a good significant shares out of Econet, and I've been to cement company, one of the largest cement companies. I was the second largest shareholder there.
Wow.
But the point is that in were property, so I buy properties.
So you made your money in these other businesses?
Yes.
Divested?
Yes.
And then
I
invested
just increased my property portfolio, especially after selling off the G&D one in Bulawayo. That's when I sprung to fame, sprung up significantly, because G&D issues I sold, I got my money. Instead of thinking about factories anymore, I went straight into buying property.
Now, there's something important we need to talk about.
Yeah.
When we grew up, our parents and our elders worked in jobs.
Sure.
And when they gave us an understanding of people like you,
sure,
they said, Madila, Matsotsi, they're criminals, they're dealers, they're land barons.
Yeah.
And we're now beginning to understand that you were different to them because you were starting businesses,
The
funding
more
yourself.
I realized they were lost in how they view me, the more satisfied I was to ensure that they keep on saying things that don't benefit them, whilst I sprang off to create a big distance between us. Because you cannot spend the whole day talking about somebody without making something for yourself. Why talk about me? Why not just improve yourself?
So what message do you have to the young generation that still does what our parents were doing,
Yeah.
calling other people names, saying Manoromba? What message do you have to them when they are faced with business people like you? What should they do?
The honest truth is, when you start anything, work very hard on it, focus on that particular business you've started, grow it the best you can. And that to me has been the way that I've gotten here. I tell my kids that, I've focused on what I know best, which is property. It's easy, simple. You're working with these guys you see on top there and everywhere. It's simple and easy. And everything else that goes with properties. I became president of Construction Industry Federation of Zimbabwe, the largest body in construction. I became its president. I was senior vice president, I was immediate past president. So for me to spend a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, just at the helm of construction, meant I was
learning.
Yes.
Now you are constructing.
Exactly. Now I can be able to, show people what was I doing there.
How many properties are you developing right now?
I own lots of properties, and we will probably tour the 16 hotels in Borodale. They are built.
16 hotels in
big,
Borodale.
Big hotels, yeah.
And we are going to the place.
We are going to the Nyore Nyore.
200 and
250,000 stand.
Tell me about Nyore Nyore.
Nyore Nyore is the brainchild of my previously suggested what was called Pamvura housing scheme. I then changed the name from Pamvura to Nyore Nyore because there's a disruption that happened in the Harare South where I started the project.
Yes. This is where you gave away some land for people to build.
Exactly. I then said, no, let me walk away.
So that's philanthropy again.
I don't know what people can call it, but certainly I'm not, one person who wishes to have controversies. Where there's noise, there's no money. So I will not stick around when you want to make noise. I move. Okay, so that's me. Or I go to court and I win absolutely, and I silence you.
So let's do this. So we've got this shopping mall that we're in.
Yeah, there's 10 more like this one.
There's 10 more like this one.
Yes.
In Harare.
Yes. In Harare, not
10
anywhere.
more.
10. Yeah.
Not being built by Pick and Pay from South Africa.
I built them myself from my back pocket.
Then we go to Nyore Nyore.
No bank. Yeah, to Nyore Nyore. That's where we are going.
Then there's the hotel group.
Yes, the hotel groups. I'll show you.
Now, guys, I'm absolutely impressed by what it is that I'm hearing today. But more importantly, we have learned from the horse's mouth his success story. Starting off in business in 1980. But he actually tells me that I started before that when I was working with my mother at a stall that she used to have selling vegetables, and we used to buy and sell the product that she sold in the market. He learned to be in business. You worked for a short period of time.
Yes, I worked from 1978.
Worked in some of the most Willowvale Motors?
I worked at Bulawayo Board of Executors. These were owners of Olympus Consolidated Mines, Falcon Mines, Anana Mines, Venus Mines, and I worked, Browns, wholesalers. They were the secretaries. It was in Bulawayo.
Very good.
The building is now owned by my boss, 𝗭𝗑𝗔𝗓𝗪𝗓.
Oh, wow.
He now owns York House. That's where I worked for the first time.
Excellent.
Then I moved from there to Dunlop.
Dunlop.
Then from there I came to Harare Willowvale Motor Industries. Then I moved from there to Van Leer, and that's.
And what skills were you using for these jobs that you did?
I had certificates in accounting, management, etc. Then
And from there you started selling cars.
Then I was selling cars.
That was your
and
first
my late
business.
brother. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Then we went into that. Then I also became some small bookkeeper around for some businesses. Be it 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗟, Matabeleland stores, be it 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗕𝗪𝗏 Emporium, Gutu, and then 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗟𝗏𝗏. I was the bookkeeper.
So you're now giving me a reference of the work, your proof of work.
Yeah.
Even before we get to you beginning AAG.
Yeah, well, look, AAG was 1994.
Now,
Yeah.
People think you made your money in 1994.
Yeah.
You are saying you were in business in the 80s?
Yeah.
You started buying land in the 80s.
Oh, yes.
So by the time you get to AAG, you're already an establishment.
Yeah, I mean,
but people didn't
when
know.
we started with Peter, he was saying, okay, was this other place called Shortstone, where he was developing in between the Ivans. There's a big piece of land with residents.
I grew up there. I grew up there.
Yeah,
What is it called?
Shortstone. It's a beautiful.
So
I'm
what,
the one who
tell me
developed
about
it.
Shortstone.
Shortstone is
You own Shortstone?
Yeah, I owned it. It was mine.
So for those who grew up in Waterfalls, this man owned Shortstone.
I owned it.
And we only got to know about you in 1994.
You know, when you talk too much, when you're making money, people disturb you. So you have to keep quiet, make money and run. Chisora village in the Grange, Chisipite. I own it.
No.
60
Are
hectares.
you serious?
Yes.
Those big mansions and big houses over there.
I developed that. I am the one who developed that piece of land and sold pieces there to various actors. A lot of people.
There's serious millionaires who stay
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You
I'm the developer. I'm the owner of that
and
land.
someone told me that whenever people need to build service stations in Harare, they need to talk to one man.
Of
Is
course,
that
there's a
true?
service station here. And everywhere where we are putting up is a service station. Yeah.
So if guys want to own service stations, likelihood of them talking to you.
Most of them have spoken to me.
And another myth is that every single highway out of Harare
I have
into
property.
Harare.
I have property everywhere.
So guys, we're talking to one of Zimbabwe's biggest property owners. He's probably one of the biggest property owners in Southern Africa, maybe even in Africa. But the point is we never get to respect our business people. We talk about Warren Buffett. We study them in our university and MBA courses. We have to change that, where we're going to study MBAs about property moguls who came from communications to banking through to motor sales until he's become what he's become. But he decided to rationalize this portfolio and focus on property. This is an inspiring story. It's a good Zimbabwe story. It's not his story. It's not his children's story. It is our story. And the point I'm trying to drive to you is this is our legacy, and we need to learn from people like him, spread the message, and become like him, because that's how America was built. The men that built America are exactly like the men that are building Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Mrs. Nyamo. I now want to see all these properties that you've been talking about.
Let's go.
Nyore Nyore, which in English means great ease, easy, or convenience, is the crown jewel of Dr. Chiyangwa's empire. This crown jewel is a mixed-income residential development or mini-city on the outskirts of Harare South, where social classes will network and form everlasting relationships. The whole aim of the project is to bring people together while ushering in urbanization of 4 separate provincial hinterlands. Sat on 2,000 hectares, the project is already underway, with bitumen currently building roads and water drainage systems in the area, in preparation for the development of a mixed-income development housing project of over 250,000 people from all walks of life in the mini-city. This feels like something from a movie in pursuit of NDS 1 and 2. The city will have a dedicated and well-equipped police station, upmarket shopping malls, luxury high-rise apartments, hotels for different classes of people and price points, office blocks, an industrial park, banks, schools, recreation facilities, a hospital with a helicopter landing pad, flats, budget accommodation, and all manner of aspiring products for aspiring classes, and even its own personal train station for the soon-to-come Harare transit system. Nyore Nyore is a replica of similar developments in Dubai, like the Dubai Marina, and it's envisaged to be the epitome of mixed-income urban lifestyle living in the periphery of rural Mashonaland. This project is seen as a new model of development that will bring urbanization of the surrounding farming and rural communities in line with government's strategy and agenda to industrialize and commercialize rural areas to leverage our rich resources and human capital in our rural communities. Nyore Nyore is one of various real estate projects that Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa is embarking on his properties in an endeavor to house over 1.2 million people in similar mixed house residential projects throughout the country before 2030. Alongside the agenda of housing 1.2 million people, this project has already created over 500 jobs, and at its peak, it's focused to create over 10,000 jobs in communities all across the country where the similar projects are going to be undertaken. Nyore Nyore has become the embodiment of the mantra, Nyika inovakwa nevenevayo. And as such, it is a marvel to see Phillip Chiyangwa bringing into fruition grand dreams that he's been dreaming about.
Right, so we came here on the 7th of November after being contracted by Pinnacle Properties to develop the first phase of the road infrastructure for the Nyore Nyore housing project. So after arriving on site here on the 7th of November, we understood from discussion that the client wanted this project as quickly as possible. We responded positively. We deployed as much resources as we could, so that as we speak today, all works are complete. In other words, the last layer of the roads is being processed now. It's been dumped on the ground.
Just next to Pinnacle Holdings offices and less than 600 meters from Highland Park on Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa Highway to Mutoko lies an unfinished building that Dr. Chiyangwa is now putting final touches to become an upmarket mall that will house 50 shops, offices, saloons and restaurants. The mall, which has stood unfinished for years along Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa Drive, is one of 9 other shopping centers and malls that Dr. Chiyangwa and his company Pinnacle Construction will complete in the next 12 months. When I asked Dr. Chiyangwa why the building and a number of others have not been finished over the years and are only being completed now, the doctor went on to educate me on how for many years the economic environment in Zimbabwe was just not conducive for property development. But now that some sanctions have been removed on critical sectors of the economy, the time was now conducive for him to finish his projects in preparation for economic growth that is anticipated over the next few years, with a 6% growth expected in 2025. More critically, it would seem that one thing Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa has going for him is timing. Just looking along Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa Drive, you can see a number of businesses investing in property development, a lot of which is being done on his own property, and this is corroborating his hunch that the time is perfect now to develop property because of demand for tenant space. Another interesting explanation that he gave me was, the time was opportune now to invest in brick and mortar because unlike Mugabe before, the current president is pro-business and has created an environment for sustainable long-term growth that makes sense to invest in commercial property now.
We have a big program. We are having housing, 1.2 million by April next year. We'll have publicized the full
Portfolio.
extent of the 1.2 million, where they're going, where we'll develop them. Because remember, I work through experts who give me plans that have been certified and approved. And say, this is what we have now. And once I'm happy with it, that's what I run with. I put my money to that.
Right.
So when we leave that, we go to shopping malls. These are retail chains. They will be all over the country as well, because those shopping malls, those developments we are making, there are shopping malls inside there. So I'm going to be part of that as well.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So I'm going full throttle, non-stop. I don't beg, no bank has ever funded my projects. No.
Besides you owning 20% in a major bank at some point.
26% to be exact. On the largest bank. It was kept a secret up to now.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to a cement company, I was number 2 shareholder there. A secret. Because once you talk, they start criticizing. Whoa. Stay now.
Now, guys, what I'm going to tell you is the secret he's not telling you. The man began to buy property well early in the 80s. When he started his business selling cars, whatever little money he made when they started creating the telecommunications companies, he invested in property. And this is what he was saying to me. Young men, worry about controlling property, because all the other things may fall. Share prices of companies may fall. Sometimes a cellular network can be beaten by Elon Musk's
technology.
And you lose your share value, but land, you will never lose the value. And he said that to me again and again. So the secret to you, those who want to learn, not the jealousy ones, learn that property, land is where everything starts. The mineral is in land.
Yes.
The food is in land.
Yes.
The building of houses, building of businesses, building of anything,
yes,
you need land. And that's what he's taught me. And I've learned. And I want to say to you guys, take time to learn to these encyclopedias of business, encyclopedias of the liberation of this country, because they've got a lot to teach. And even though he doesn't really dwell in politics and becomes more about money, he's part and parcel of the institution that liberated this country. Everywhere that Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa is making developments along the Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa Road, you will see that there is major construction taking place. So he's got his offices on the road, he's got his mall, and then you look at developments like this happening on the same road. You go through to Chisora, up in the Grange, it's in the same area. You go to Borrowdale, you will see that there are major developments happening everywhere where Dr. Phillip is building and finishing off his properties. Timing is everything. Developing property at a time where everybody's developing property in the same area will increase the value of your property. So that is why he has let some projects lie dormant when the economy was stressed under sanctions. And now that the economy is blossoming, it's flowering, you're seeing a lot of investments, a lot of houses being bought, turned into offices, being renovated. This is the time that Dr. Chiyangwa has also started making his developments. Timing will give value to your properties.
In the Grange is 60 hectares of prime land known as Chisora. Not too long ago, this area was just bush. In fact, it was full of masora. But Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa bought this piece of land and held onto it. What the good doctor saw in this bush was a high-class suburb of the who's who's of Harare emerging and adorning the timeless native yellow fever and musasa trees found in the area. In pursuit of his vision, a number of years ago, Phillip bought bulldozers, graders, and began to service the land, building roads, infrastructure, and began selling prime stands for a great return. Today, Chisora consists of high-end houses built by some of Harare's high society in a little Beverly Hills of Harare. The place is a marvel to behold. In Bluffhill, Phillip Chiyangwa also held 40 hectares of prime land. But unlike Chisora, he did not service and sell the land. Instead, he chose to develop real estate by building homes that carry the same design theme in what is called Pamvura Mews. The homes might share a design thread, but each home is unique. The thing they have in common is that each home consists of a modern open-plan kitchen and lounge design, between 3 and 4 bedrooms, all of which are en suite. Outside, most have 2-car garages, making them lock-up-and-go lifestyle clusters for jet-setting middle-class types who are always on the move. At the gate are security guards who are backed up by armed security to ensure 24-hour security for the properties in the heart of Blufffield. Just across from Pamvura's Sunset Mews is a school named Divaris Maharis in tribute to Phillip Chiyangwa's father. It's a private school that offers Cambridge International and ZIMSEC at very affordable prices. For some time now, the school has consistently achieved among the top 2 best primary school results in the country. The high school is still under construction and not yet fully operational. The school has facilities for rugby, soccer, swimming, basketball and tennis. Additionally, it offers day school and a well-equipped boarding school whose facilities rival those of many tertiary institutions on the continent. Outside the school is the development of one of the 10 shopping centers that Phillip Chiyangwa will be completing next year.
This is one of the top schools in Zimbabwe. This is one of the top, the number one, schools under ZIMSEC examination, which is simple. One can Google that ZIMSEC examinations for the past 8 years. This is top 1 school.
Top 1 school.
Oh yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
My results are?
Yeah, 100%.
And what are we looking at? High school and primary school?
So the primary school is here. Then the primary feeds the high school over there.
Right.
So
yes, over there.
Yes. As usual, Zimbabweans love Cambridge. You cannot be able to tell exactly. But we are there at the Cambridge. I don't go past our father, I my university. I just also come there, right?
So, Murguita Bajitsambe, you are producing the highest standards.
The best at primary.
Wow.
You can't beat us on that one. A teacher who cannot teach well, who cannot get us results we want at grade 7 level, Famba.
How did you make this happen? How did you get to be in a situation
I
where...
personally built this school myself. Having been a president of Cyphers, I would come here 4 or 5 a.m. from my house and we are building this school. I built this myself.
Right.
So I hope that, those that come after me, my kids, anybody, this is not for sale.
So what you started to do is you started to create the schools that were synonymous with the Anglicans and the churches of old.
Yes.
You are doing the same now.
Yes.
In this day and age.
Yeah.
And this is part and parcel of why we want empowerment of our own people who can build their own facilities.
We have at the back there accommodation boarding facilities, right? Superb, with top chefs there. From those coming for primary, there's boarding school. There's boarding school for high school. We have the best facilities at the back there. So for me, it's up to somebody who has been here must tell the story about Divaris.
How many classrooms?
We have 39 classrooms. Maximum kids 15 up to 20. But they're big classrooms, these ones.
Wow.
These ones are colonial types classrooms. The people who did these plans for me did it in comparison to the other colonial schools. But this is a very big school.
Right.
With all the sporting facilities available, tennis, basketball, you name it, all sorts of sports.
Very good.
Yeah, football, soccer, I've been a big boy in football circles across the world. So, I have to do it.
So the buses are to take kids to the schooling events?
There are many buses. There are these ones here and some other.
Okay.
Yeah, this high school is getting new buses. So, that's what we have to do all the time. Not necessarily because the school is making money. I've been investing continuously.
Just yes, before you make the money.
Not before I make money. I mean, schools, I've never thought of them as money making. I'm into some businesses where I make real money. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this here is in honor of my father. And those that come through here must definitely get that feeling that this is a very serious...
Dr. Chiyangwa, you've taught me a lot, and I think you've taught our viewers a lot about what it is that you're doing. But more importantly, I think to the viewers, this is the example of why we are advocates for the improvement of lives of the indigenous people and prosperity of indigenous people. Because once they prosper, they begin to do things for their community.
Sure.
His passion is he never went to a school like this, so he decided to create a school like this for himself We must build our own schools for our own children so that we can improve our own children's lives. And no one else will do that except an indigenous Zimbabwean who understand what it feels like to grow up in the rural areas without schooling facilities. We're now able to build the same for our children and leave a legacy and grow this Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe inovakwa neve nevayo.
To crown off the empire, Dr. Chiyangwa is proud of his new established hospitality group that will see the development of 16 hotels in Borrowdale. These state-of-the-art hotels will include the Pentagon Hotel, the White House Boutique Hotel, and 14 bespoke designer-style hotels in the property of the Palms wedding venue. These hotels will offer a one-stop service offering for wedding guests, partygoers, and just those that want their privacy, who will have a choice between 14 designer hotels that range from 17 rooms to 100 rooms. These hotels will be well suited for yuppies, celebrities, and exclusive families who want privacy and intimacy with their own close-knit family away from the prying public. This is a progressive development, considering that Harare has not seen any new hotels being built in the country since sanctions were imposed in 2001. These new designer hotels that will be complete in 2025 will offer more luxury accommodation options, which will put pressure and force improvement of the below-par hotels in Harare that are charging ridiculous prices for accommodation in the country.
So we're at the famous White House, and the White House is receiving a major transformation. It's going to be part and parcel of the 16 hotels that Dr. Chiyangwa is actually building. And like I said, it's an exciting time for us to see in Zimbabwe the development of 4-star hotels after a very long time where we haven't seen such developments taking place. Doc?
Yes.
I see that our White House is getting a very big transformation.
Oh yeah, it's been in my dreams. Even when I built it, I knew putting 18 bedrooms in a place was just too much.
Right.
But I lived here with a very small family and knew that these bedrooms, one day when I exit out of here, it will be a hotel. And I built it as such and went to Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, seeking permission for the Pentagon, this one and the ones next door, which I want you to see, that, these will be hotels that Zimbabwe can be rest assured. No other place is as lavish as this one.
4-star?
4-star is the Pentagon.
Yes.
Somehow you may find my 5-star.
Kunoku.
Yeah.
Which explains the high-class furniture that I just saw there.
Yes. We bought furniture many years ago and put it in that other side there. And some of it is all over the place. But again, what I was trying to live through is having to understand that things are changing. There are many dynamics in terms of hospitality. Whether it's at the Pentagon or here, we need to infuse the latest, hospitality things that people get attracted to. So we have bought that. Many containers have arrived and they are in my other premises. So it's all meant to make sure that when we unleash the hospitality bonanza, no other can compete.
Are you doing B&B or straight hotels?
Well, look here, I think I'm not going to run them.
Yes.
I have a deal that I think will work,
yes,
that will bring very good names to these hotels. So on that basis, it will be hotels.
It will be hotels.
These are big. You can't have a B&B with 100 and something bedrooms or these big houses and so forth. So, I think you'll be excited.
And I think we can then maybe classify this as a boutique
hotel. Yeah, that you can say.
Wonderful.
Okay. Yeah, because each one has to define itself of the 16 that are within this close range.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a hotel in the Brook as well. So,
wow.
Saka, I don't know, but I just invest. Yeah.
And then the managers manage.
Yes. This is the Pentagon Hotel and Shopping Center. This one is the hotel side, which has got part of the 155 rooms, which are from this side to the main one, the main building, which is 3 times bigger than this. It's in the front. It's got an underground basement where you can park vehicles. I think we estimate to be about 100 underneath.
Right.
And this particular hotel has got its own brothers and sisters, 15 of them, where probably I'll take you to what is called the Boulevard.
Right.
It's an estate of hotels.
Yes.
I think spanning on over 30 acres, just
Right.
up the road.
Yes.
So we intended that all of them be opened at once, rather than having to finish this, open it, and then rush for the next one and so forth. Because as far as I'm concerned, I just want it to be that way.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. So you have a shopping center,
Yes,
a medical center,
yes,
the hotel itself.
yes.
How many stars is the hotel going to have?
We had agreed that it will start at 4.
At 4.
And move into 5. And that's what we had agreed. So this is with the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority.
And what I like
It's
about
got all the papers, by the way.
you've already got the papers. All you need to do is just finish it.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And what I like about it is that we haven't seen too many new hotels coming up in Harare.
Yeah.
And you have just said you're going to develop how many? 10.
There are 16 altogether.
16
This is
altogether.
One of 16. I'll take you to the 15. Next. There, it spans on 30 acres. You will see them.
Right.
Up the road. Yeah.
So guys, this is an exciting time because we have not seen new hotels being built in Zimbabwe since the sanctions began. And these are the people that have kept this economy going. While others were running, while the Western investors were running, people like CEO Dr. Chiyangwa kept this economy going by investing, buying land, and now they're beginning to put in concrete, mortar, and steel.
Correct.
To make sure that they're developing the future of Zimbabwe tomorrow. It's an exciting time to be living because we're actually seeing the rebuilding. Kuvakwa kweZimbabwe nevene vayo.
Correct.
So guys, let's take you in and let's show you the greatness that is taking place here at the Pentagon.
Correct. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, go ahead.
So we finally come to the end of this amazing documentary. I don't even want to call it a documentary. I think that it is a case study of the success of a billionaire and a very important person in our country. It's also a very good Zimbabwe story. But I thought it would be fitting for us to finish it where Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa started his career in property development. This place I'm standing on is called Shortstone. And for those who know waterfalls, you would know that this farm that is opposite here is a farm that produces eggs. So, in the 1980s, when white farmers and white people began to leave Zimbabwe because of independence, many white farmers were selling their properties for a very small amount of money. Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa, understanding that the peripheries of Harare were eventually going to require land for people to expand, he decided to buy Shortstone Farm. And he bought this farm because he knew that in time, people were going to need property to develop housing, and so he bought it and he held it. He was offered money by one of the farming companies in the area, and he refused to sell. 180 hectares is what he was holding on to, knowing that one day this land will be valuable and required. And when the time came for him to actually sell this land, the first thing he did was to create roads, plumbing, and other infrastructure that was necessary, electricity, telephones, etc. And then when he was ready, he began to sell the stands in this area at a very high price. Short stone is how Phillip Chiyangwa became a US dollar millionaire. And that's how he began to understand the importance of amassing land that other people do not want, because he knew that it would have value in time. This is where he learned that lesson. So for those of you that call Phillip Chiyangwa a land baron, know the story. Pinnacle Holdings, Pinnacle Properties came from this land. And it is because of vision that he began to buy land when other black Zimbabweans didn't know that land was valuable. And he bought that land, he held it, sold some of it, developed some of it, and now he's developing a lot of it. That is major. That is international standard real estate development. That's the story of Dr. Phillip Chiyangwa. And you know what? Lately, if you go around Harare, you're going to see a lot of developments taking place, a lot of investments, houses being bought up, office parks being developed, offices being developed. That shows that Zimbabwe is blossoming. It also shows that people are finding Zimbabwe as an attractive destination to reinvest and to invest as outsiders and insiders. But we have to give credit to the men and women that stuck it out. People like Dr. Chiyangwa and the other millionaire Zimbabweans who decided to continue investing in this country when it was unattractive and continue to keep this country viable. They continued to give people places to build their homes, and now they're building shopping centers, hotels, business parks, and accommodation facilities to keep this city and country going. Thank you so much to you, Dr. Chiyangwa, and other business partners of yours that kept this country going while others were divesting, others were leaving. And I want to say, your story is not a good story for the Chiyangwas, it's not a good story for the legacy of your children only, but it is a good story for all Zimbabweans. Thank you for taking the time to teach us and educate us on this. As you can see, I'm holding my camera because there are some things I don't want to be disturbed. I want to do a closing. I want to give my comments fairly, as Dr. Chiyangwa asked me, to be as honest and as open as I can. This is the Good Zimbabwe Story by Rutendo Mating'arare, and I want to say, let's see you again when yet another great Zimbabwean tells us the great Zimbabwe story.